What's up, everyone? I'm Alex,
And I'm Sarah.
and welcome back to IdeaCaster Daily. Sarah, I've got a stat that's going to blow your mind. TikTok Shop just announced they processed $17 billion in sales last year. 17 billion? And here's the kicker. They're projecting 50 billion by 2025.
Wait, really? That's insane growth. But what does that actually mean for people trying to build businesses?
That's exactly what we're diving into today. We've got 3 validated business ideas that are riding massive waves right now. First up, we're talking about private label food products on TikTok Shop, and I cannot stop thinking about the margins on this one. Then we're getting into AI fluency assessments for companies, which sounds boring, but the revenue potential is absolutely massive. And finally, founder to essay writing services that are charging $5,000 per piece.
$5,000 for one essay? Okay, you definitely have my attention now.
Right? These aren't just random ideas either. We've got real numbers, actual success stories, and specific playbooks for each one. So grab your coffee, settle in, and let's break these down.
All right, let's do this.
Okay, first idea private label food products on TikTok Shop. Sarah, when I first heard about this, I thought it was just another dropshipping scheme. But then I started looking at the numbers and holy shit.
Language, Alex. But okay, walk me through it. What exactly are we talking about here?
So here's the basic concept. You find a food manufacturer, could be hot sauce, specialty snacks, seasonings, whatever. You work with them to create your own private label version. Then, instead of trying to compete on Amazon where everyone's racing to the bottom, you sell on TikTok Shop using live selling and content marketing.
But wait, isn't food complicated? Like, don't you need FDA approvals and all that regulatory stuff?
You absolutely do, and we'll get to that. But first, let me paint the picture of why this is working right now. TikTok Shop is essentially the new QVC, but with way better targeting. People are scrolling, they see someone making nachos with this amazing spice blend. They can literally buy it without leaving the app.
Okay, that I can see. Impulse buying is definitely TikTok's wheelhouse.
Exactly. And here's what's crazy. I found this woman in Texas who's doing specialty barbecue rubs. She started 8 months ago. She's now doing between $20,000 and $30,000 a month in revenue. Her margins are around 55% because she's not competing on price, she's competing on story and experience.
Wait, hold on. 20 to 30,000 a month from spice rubs?
From spice rubs, she's got 3 different blends. Average order value is about $38 because people bundle them together. But here's the genius part. She's not just selling spice rubs. She's selling the experience. She does live cooking shows. She teaches people how to use them. She's built this whole community around barbecue.
Okay, I'm starting to see it, but let's talk about the practical stuff. How do you actually find these manufacturers?
Great question. So there are a few different routes. First, you've got Alibaba, but honestly, for food, I'd recommend starting domestic. There are co-packers all over the country who specialize in different types of products. For hot sauce, you've got places in Louisiana. For snacks, there are facilities in Texas and California. For seasonings, tons of options in the Midwest.
And they'll just work with anyone? Like, what if you're just starting out?
Most co-packers have minimum orders, usually starting around 500 to 1,000 units. So your initial investment might be anywhere from $2,000 to $5,000 depending on the product. But here's what's beautiful about TikTok Shop right now. The algorithm actually favors new creators. You don't need to have a million followers to get traction.
That's actually pretty reasonable for starting a business. But what about all the regulatory stuff I mentioned?
Right, so this is where you need to be careful. Any food product needs proper labeling with nutrition facts, ingredient lists, allergen warnings. The good news is most co-packers will help you with this because they're already compliant. But you do need to factor in maybe $500 to $1,000 for proper label design and compliance consulting.
Okay, but what about shelf life? Shipping? I'm thinking about all the ways food products can go wrong.
These are totally valid concerns. This is why I'd recommend starting with shelf-stable products. Hot sauces, dry seasonings, protein bars, things that have 6 months to 2 years shelf life. For shipping, you're looking at maybe an extra dollar or two per unit, but people expect to pay shipping for specialty food products.
And what kinds of products are actually working right now? Beyond barbecue rubs and hot sauce?
Oh man, I've got a whole list. Health-focused snacks are huge. Keto cookies, protein chips, superfood bars, regional specialties are killing it too. There's a guy doing Nebraska corn seasonings that's absolutely crushing it. Coffee blends, tea blends, even specialty salts. The key is finding something that has a story and can be demonstrated well on video.
I'm curious about the content strategy piece. How are people actually marketing these products?
This is where it gets really interesting. The most successful people aren't just posting product videos, they're creating educational content. The barbecue rub woman I mentioned, she posts three types of content: recipe videos using her products, day in the life of a small business owner content, and then live selling sessions twice a week.
And the live selling sessions work? People actually buy during those?
They absolutely work. During her live sessions, she'll demo new recipes, answer questions about the products, and offer limited time bundles. She told me her best live session did $8,000 in 90 minutes. $8,000 from people watching her cook and asking questions.
That's incredible. What about the affiliate marketing piece you mentioned?
Oh, this is genius. TikTok Shop has an affiliate program where other creators can promote your products for a commission. So now you've got cooking influencers, lifestyle creators, even fitness people promoting your products. The barbecue woman pays 20% commission, but her cost of acquisition is way lower than paid advertising.
20% seems like a lot, though. How does that work with the margins?
So let's do the math. Say she's got 55% gross margins on a $38 order. That's about $21 gross profit. She pays $7.60 in affiliate commission, so she's left with about $13.40. Still a 35% net margin, which is fantastic for e-commerce.
Okay, I can see how the numbers work, but what's the realistic timeline to get to, say, $10,000 a month?
Based on what I'm seeing, if you launch with a solid product and commit to posting daily content, 3 to 6 months to hit consistent $10,000 months. The key is consistency and really nailing your content strategy from day one. You can't just post product shots and expect it to work.
And to scale beyond that, what does the path to $50,000 a month look like?
That's where you start expanding your product line and really building that affiliate network. Most people hitting 50,000 plus have at least 5 to 7 products. They're doing live sessions multiple times a week, and they've got maybe 50 to 100 affiliates actively promoting their stuff.
This actually sounds really doable. What would you say is the biggest risk?
Honestly, quality control and customer service. Once you start scaling, if you have a bad batch or shipping delays, it can kill your reputation really quickly. TikTok is very review driven, so you need to be obsessive about product quality and customer experience.
Makes sense. All right, I'm convinced this isn't just another dropshipping scheme. The margins are real, the platform is growing like crazy, and there's actual skill involved in the content creation side.
Exactly. It's not easy, but it's definitely accessible. All right, let's move on to idea number 2, which is completely different but potentially even more lucrative: AI fluency rubric and assessment tools.
Okay, this sounds very B2B. Walk me through it.
So here's the problem. Every CEO I talk to is asking the same question: is our team AI ready? They know AI is important. They know they need to upskill their people, but nobody can actually measure where their employees stand right now.
That's actually a really good point. It's like when companies started caring about digital literacy, but there was no standard way to measure it.
Exactly. And here's what's crazy. Companies are spending millions on AI training programs without any baseline assessment. They're flying blind. They don't know if their marketing manager understands prompt engineering, if their analysts can use ChatGPT for data analysis, or if their executives can leverage AI for strategic thinking.
Okay, so what would this assessment actually look like? Because AI skills are pretty different depending on your role, right?
That's the genius of this idea. You create role-specific assessments. A marketing analyst needs to know how to use AI for content creation, data analysis, maybe image generation. But a VP of marketing needs to understand AI strategy, vendor evaluation, team management in an AI-enabled workplace.
So it's not just, do you know how to use ChatGPT? It's more nuanced than that.
Way more nuanced. Think about it like Excel proficiency tests that companies used to give. An entry-level analyst needs to know formulas and pivot tables. A financial director needs to understand complex modeling and data visualization. Same concept, but for AI tools and thinking.
I can see the need, but what does the business model look like? Who's paying and how much?
So I've been researching this, and here's what I found. HR technology companies are charging anywhere from $10 to $25 per employee per year for assessment platforms. But for enterprise deals with custom rubrics and detailed reporting, we're talking $5,000 to $50,000 implementations.
Wait, $50,000 for assessments?
For comprehensive AI readiness assessments across large organizations, absolutely. Think about a company with 5,000 employees. They're probably spending millions on AI initiatives. 50,000 to actually understand where their people stand and create targeted training programs? That's a no-brainer investment.
Who would be buying this? Like, which department owns this decision?
Great question. It's usually a collaboration between HR, learning and development, and IT. Sometimes the chief AI officer if they have one. But HR is typically driving it because they own talent development and they're getting pressure from leadership to make sure we're not falling behind on AI.
And you think there's enough demand for this to build a real business? How big is the market?
The corporate training market is over $300 billion globally. The assessment and testing piece is about $15 billion. If even 1% of that shifts to AI fluency testing in the next 2 years, we're talking about a $150 million market opportunity.
Those are big numbers. But what makes you think companies will actually pay for this? Couldn't they just create their own assessments?
They could, but here's the thing, creating scientifically valid assessments is really hard. You need psychometric expertise, you need to benchmark against industry standards, you need ongoing updates as AI tools evolve. Most companies would rather buy a proven solution than try to build it internally.
That makes sense. What would the actual assessment process look like for someone taking it?
I'm thinking a combination of multiple choice questions, practical exercises, and scenario-based problems. For a marketing role, you might give them a prompt engineering challenge, ask them to analyze AI-generated content for quality, or present them with a scenario about implementing AI tools in their workflow.
And then the company gets a report showing where each employee stands, like a heat map of AI readiness across the organization?
Exactly. Imagine a dashboard that shows your sales team is advanced in AI-powered prospecting, but needs work on AI-assisted customer service. Or your finance team is great with AI for data analysis, but doesn't understand the compliance implications of using AI for financial reporting.
I can definitely see the value, but how do you establish credibility for something like this? Companies are going to want to know the assessments are legitimate.
This is where you need to be really thoughtful about partnerships and advisory board. You'd want people from major consulting firms, maybe some academics who study AI adoption, definitely some CHROs from Fortune 500 companies. The credibility piece is absolutely critical.
What about competition? Are there companies already doing this?
There are general digital literacy assessment companies, but nobody's built the definitive AI fluency platform yet. This is very much a blue ocean right now. The company that establishes a standard first is going to have a massive moat.
It's like being the FICO score for AI skills. That's actually a really compelling position.
Exactly. And here's what gets me excited about the timing. Boards are asking CEOs about AI strategy in every quarterly meeting. But most CEOs can't answer basic questions about their organization's AI readiness. This gives them something concrete to point to.
What would it take to actually build this? I'm thinking about the technical requirements.
You need assessment platform technology, but that's actually not the hard part. The hard part is developing the rubrics and validation studies. I'd estimate 6 months to build an MVP with maybe 3 to 4 role-specific assessments. Probably need $100,000 to $200,000 in initial investment.
And what does the go-to-market strategy look like? How do you get your first customers?
I'd start with mid-market companies, maybe 500 to 5,000 employees. They're big enough to have real AI adoption challenges, but small enough to make decisions quickly. Partner with HR consultants, maybe sponsor some chief people officer conferences.
What about pricing strategy? You mentioned $10 to $25 per employee per year.
For the base assessment, I'd probably start at $15 per employee annually. But the real money is in the enterprise packages with custom rubrics, detailed analytics, integration with learning management systems. Those could be $50,000 to $200,000 deals.
And you think companies would pay that, even in a tough economic environment?
Here's the thing about AI right now. Companies are terrified of falling behind, but they're also terrified of wasting money on AI initiatives that don't work. This gives them a way to be strategic about their investments instead of just throwing money at AI training programs.
I have to admit, this sounds like a really solid B2B opportunity. The need is clear, the market is huge, and there's no obvious dominant player yet.
Right? And the recurring revenue model is beautiful. Once you're embedded in an organization's talent development process, you're pretty sticky. All right, let's move to our third idea, which is much more lifestyle friendly, but still has serious revenue potential.
Okay, founder to essay writing service. You mentioned $5,000 per essay earlier. That seems insane. Walk me through this.
So here's the reality. Every founder knows they should be writing thought leadership content. It helps with fundraising, recruiting, building their personal brand, but most of them either can't write well or don't have time to do it properly.
But $5,000 for one essay? That's more than most people spend on a vacation.
I know it sounds crazy, but think about what we're really talking about here. This isn't just writing an essay. This is strategic thought leadership that could help a founder raise their next round, attract key hires, or establish them as an expert in their space. What's that worth to someone trying to raise a $20 million Series A?
Okay, I can see the value proposition, but walk me through what this service actually includes for that price.
So the process I've seen work best starts with deep interviews, maybe 2 to 3 hours of recorded conversations where you're really digging into their insights, their experiences, their unique perspective on the industry. Then you're crafting that into a polished piece that sounds like them, but reads way better than anything they could write themselves.
So you're not just writing about them, you're writing as them. That's essentially high-end ghostwriting.
Exactly, but with a specific focus on founders and thought leadership. And here's what makes it valuable. Most founders have incredible insights from building their companies, but they struggle to articulate those insights in a way that resonates with their audience.
What kind of founders are paying for this, and how often?
Mostly Series A and beyond. People who've raised at least $5 to $10 million and are thinking seriously about their next fundraise or major hiring push. The best clients are doing 1 to 2 pieces per month, so you're looking at $5,000 to $10,000 monthly retainers.
Wait, so some clients are paying $10,000 a month for 2 essays? That's $120,000 a year just for writing.
For strategic thought leadership writing, yes. And when you think about what founders typically pay for other services, PR firms, marketing consultants, executive coaches, this is actually pretty reasonable for the impact it can have.
What kind of impact are we talking about? Do you have examples of how this has actually helped founders?
I've got a great example. There's a fintech founder who was struggling to articulate his vision for embedded banking. Worked with a writer to create a comprehensive piece about the future of financial infrastructure. That piece got picked up by TechCrunch, he got invited to speak at 3 major conferences, and 2 VCs reached out about his next round.
And he credits the essay with making those connections? That seems like it could have happened anyway.
Fair point, but here's the thing. He'd been trying to write that piece for 8 months and never finished it. The professional writer helped him clarify his thinking and present it in a way that actually resonated. Sometimes it's not just about the writing, it's about the strategic thinking process.
I can see that. What about the actual writing process? How do you make sure it sounds authentic?
This is a key skill. You're not just interviewing them once and writing. You're having ongoing conversations. You're studying how they communicate in other contexts. You're really trying to capture their voice and thinking patterns. The best writers in this space are almost like method actors.
And what types of topics are founders wanting to write about? Is it mostly industry insights?
It varies a lot. Industry predictions are popular, but so are leadership lessons, fundraising experiences, hiring insights, even personal stories about overcoming challenges. The key is finding topics that showcase their expertise while being genuinely interesting to their target audience.
Who is the target audience usually? Other founders, investors?
It depends on their goals. If they're fundraising, they're writing for investors and industry analysts. If they're hiring, they're writing for potential employees. If they're building partnerships, they might be writing for other executives in their space. The best pieces work for multiple audiences.
What about the business model for the writer? How many clients can you realistically handle?
If you're doing really high quality work, probably 3 to 5 monthly clients max. Each piece requires significant research, multiple interview sessions, several rounds of revision. But at $5,000 to $10,000 per month per client, you're looking at $15,000 to $50,000 monthly revenue with just a handful of clients.
That's incredible margins though. Basically just your time and expertise.
Exactly. No inventory, no employees necessarily, very low overhead. The main costs are your time and maybe some tools for research and transcription. It's a beautiful lifestyle business that can scale to serious revenue.
How do you find these clients? I imagine you can't just post on Upwork and charge $5,000.
Definitely not Upwork. This is all about relationships and credibility. You need samples of your work, probably case studies of results you've driven. The best way in is probably starting with smaller founders and building up your portfolio and testimonials.
What would you charge when you're starting out? Before you have the track record to command $5,000 per piece?
I'd probably start around 1,000 to 1,500 per piece for early stage founders, maybe 2 to 3,000 for more established ones. But you want to move up market as quickly as possible because the work is almost the same regardless of what you're charging.
That makes sense. What about the skill requirements? Not everyone can write at this level.
You definitely need strong writing skills, but the interview and strategic thinking piece might be even more important. You need to be able to draw insights out of people, help them clarify their thinking, and understand business strategy well enough to position their ideas effectively.
And you think there's enough demand for this to support multiple writers? Or is this more of a niche opportunity?
There are thousands of well-funded startups with founders who need this kind of help. The personal branding piece is becoming more and more important for fundraising and recruiting. I think there's room for quite a few people to build successful practices in this space.
What's the biggest challenge with this business model, besides finding clients?
Honestly, managing scope creep and client expectations. Founders are used to being very hands-on, so you need clear processes and boundaries. Also, the pressure can be intense because these pieces often have high stakes attached to them.
But if you can handle that pressure and deliver results, it's potentially a really lucrative business. All right, these three ideas are fascinating because they're so different from each other.
Right? We've got physical products and e-commerce, B2B software and assessments, and high-end services, but there's actually a common thread connecting all of them.
What's the thread? I'm not seeing the connection immediately.
They're all about capturing value from major platform or technology shifts that are happening right now. TikTok Shop is fundamentally changing e-commerce, AI adoption is creating massive corporate education needs, and the rise of founder-led marketing is creating demand for specialized content services.
That's a really good point. They're all riding waves that are already building momentum.
Exactly. And in each case, there's a window of opportunity that won't last forever. TikTok Shop will get more competitive. AI assessment will get commoditized eventually. The founder content space will get more crowded, but right now, there's real opportunity for people who move quickly and execute well.
And they all have the potential for really strong margins, which I love, whether it's 50% on food products, recurring revenue on software, or premium pricing for specialized services.
The margins are beautiful across all three, but more than that, they all require real skill and execution. These aren't get-rich-quick schemes. They're legitimate businesses that reward people who do the work and build real value.
All right, let's wrap this up. 3 ideas: private label food products on TikTok Shop, AI fluency assessments for companies, and founder-to-essay writing services. All riding major trends, all with strong profit potential, all requiring real skill to execute.
And all accessible to people listening to this podcast. You don't need millions in funding or years of experience to get started with any of these, but you do need to take action and commit to building something real.
If you found value in today's episode, make sure to subscribe and leave us a review. And share this with other entrepreneurs who might benefit from these ideas.
Tomorrow is Deep Dive Friday, where we take one business idea and break it down completely. 30 plus minutes of market analysis, competitive landscape, step-by-step playbook, everything you need to actually build it. See you then.